Well, the veterans, what a job they've done for this country over the journey, and we're going to hear about another special veteran right now as we go to our feature story on the Jericho Cup.
I served in Cambodia early 92 to early 93 for the full 2 service periods for a year. My role in Cambodia was a field communications person, and we went there to provide field communications for the UN staff as they moved into the bush. Looking back on it now, I think it's pretty bittersweet for the state that Cambodia is in at the moment, but at the time it was about relationships with your mates and all the good that we did when we were over there.
So I met Stuart not long after he'd come out of the army. I don't think it was a very good transition for him back into civilian life. I think on the surface it looked okay. He was functioning fine, but underneath nothing was being dealt with.
My transition into family life was terrible. Spent most of my time alone or with a very small group of people. Honestly, I would find the drug of choice and lock myself in the house for days at a time and just see it through in a bit of a haze.
On a bad day, there was no Stuart there. He was shut down, uncontactable, couldn't have a conversation with him. There was no rationality there.
Does any veteran return from war unscathed? No. You always come back with something. The paddock lead or the stable lead?
Grab the green one. I've got jesters.
Right, no worries.
Bringing them through this one.
Come up! Come up!
Equine therapy has a massive ability to change a veteran's life. I think Stuart's a perfect example of that.
Come on, you three. My wife introduced me to the horses, and I quickly discovered that, like mates in the military, horses don't put up with this shit. You have to be your best, both internally and the way you display your emotions, otherwise they'll let you know in their own short terms.
Stuart's involvement is a lot of groundwork with the horses. He does do a little bit of riding as well. It helps them and him. It gets them used to being handled by humans and how to read our body language, how we read theirs. And the biggest difference I guess I've noticed with Stuart is his ability to pick up on those subtle changes in a horse's body language when they're that little bit uncomfortable. You're pushing a little bit too hard or, not hard enough.
Forming a calming relationship with a horse is one of the primary first steps. I've experienced with one of our older horses, and if I was in any way, shape, out of sorts or in a bad way, he would just circle me for hours. Then I learnt to calm myself, relax, be in the moment, and next thing you know, he was eating sugar out of your hand.
Horses teach you a huge amount about who you are. They are a great mirror of ourselves. If we listen to them, we can learn so much from them. They don't mind if you're messy or emotional or upset. As long as you can acknowledge that yourself, they accept that and they're happy to work with you and work through that.
Being in the moment is just like being with your best mates. They don't judge you, they just want to be with you. Yeah, I think there is they do play a great role in bringing you back to normal life.
Yeah, extraordinary story there. Gut-wrenching stuff, really. Our veterans, when they come home, the issues that can evolve from being part of war and the part horses play, fascinating.
I feel a bit emotional after watching that, to be honest, but I think what's just incredible is just the therapeutic nature of the horses and what they can do for humans.
Yeah, they're just so calming, and they really are the spirit animal, I think. No matter how you feel, they just make you happy. And I'm lucky enough to have my own horse at home who I turn to when I'm having a bad day. And it's amazing how much they lift you up, and they're beautiful animals.
Just listening, just in that story where the horse circles him when he's not feeling well. So often you talk to horse people or horse riders, and they say horse knows when you get on board whether you've got confidence or you're feeling right. It's sort of a bond between horse and rider. That's a typical example of it. I
they
suppose.
know however you're feeling. The horses they are incredible. They and that's when you say, a jockey, they're riding winners and they shouldn't be winning because they're so confident. You give your horse confidence and they are amazing.
Yeah, well, that story tells us all that our veterans need to be looked after, and you can assist in that manner. The Warrnambool Racing Club will be selling commemorative Jericho Cup pins with all proceeds of the sales being donated to RSL Victoria. So that's a little way you can help. But a wonderful Jericho Cup feature story for us on Off the Bit this evening.